Hey guys, what's up? This is Diego here at Cinemageddon Reviews. I'm here today because I'm very excited for the upcoming movie follow-up to the TV show Community. This is the fulfillment of 6 seasons in a movie that all of us fans of the show have been dying to see for a very long time. So in that spirit of excitement, I decided it would be a good idea to go back and talk about what has quickly become one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And just to warn you guys, this is going to contain heavy spoilers for the show. You have been warned. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about Community. In this show, Joel McHale plays Jeff Winger, a disbarred lawyer who enrolls at Greendale Community College to get his life and career back on track. Along the way, he gets into many misadventures with 6 special people, forming unlikely friendships that will change his life forever. So the concept of a sitcom set in a community college is something that hooked me right from the get-go. It's pretty common for people to think that community college doesn't really have much to offer people, and it's generally thought of as a joke by most people anyway. I'll admit I have been guilty of that in the past. And I was already kind of a fan of Dan Harmon's work because I had previously seen his work in Monster House, so I was already going into this pretty optimistic. Even more so when I discovered that in addition to Dan Harmon, this show was co-developed by Anthony and Joe Russo. Yes, the Anthony and Joe Russo. Though I have to admit, despite all this, I didn't expect to love this show as much as I did. Now granted, it's not perfect and it has some weak moments here and there, but it did make its mark on me. In fact, thanks to the writing on the show, it really broadened my mind as a writer as far as what I could do with developing my own humor. First of all, what makes Community so iconic is how it makes use of the chemistry between its central characters, that being the Greendale Study Group, and I felt this was at its strongest in the first 3 seasons. Each character has a different style of humor, be that sarcasm, morbid, innocent, self-aware, even racist and fucked up, and the show uses humor not just for humor's sake, but also to help develop the characters, both when they're at odds with each other as well as when they get along. The members of the study group will constantly clash with each other in disputes and rivalries, usually brought on by the styles of humor that each character brings to the show. It makes for some really compelling character work. In these first 3 seasons, you never feel like a character's dead weight.
I know you guys all so well I can predict your behavior. Like Shirley, I know you're a sweet, Christian, generous person. Oh, that's nice. I also know you have thinly veiled rage issues. Careful, boy.
It's all really thanks to both the really strong writing by Dan Harmon and company, as well as some really good directing in these early seasons that really make these episodes shine. In fact, it's kind of hard for Community fans to pick a favorite episode, because the episodes were just consistently this good. They also had a ton of meta humor and plenty of fun pop culture references to make it even more engaging. Now, of course, that humor would not be as good as it is without strong performances to back it up, and everyone in that study group did an awesome job. Easily my favorite 2 performances, both on their own as well as together, are from Danny Pudi as Abed Nadir and Donald Glover as Troy Barnes. I haven't seen a comedy duo this good since Will and Carlton on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. These 2 are electric.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Me llamo T-Bone, la araña discoteca.
Discoteca, muñeca, la biblioteca. Es el bigote grande, pero manteca.
Manteca, bigote, gigante, pequeño. Cabeza es nieve, cerveza es bueno.
Buenos días, me gustas papas frías. Bigote de la cabra, es Cameron Diaz. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
What? It's 2009.
Word.
That's not to say that anybody else in the group wasn't as good. Each actor brought a nice offset to the others so that the humor never got too tiresome or repetitive. It was kind of a perfect mix. But it's not just the main study group that brings all the laughs. Greendale is full of some pretty colorful side characters. People like the school psychologist, Dr. Ian Duncan, played by John Oliver.
True. All life ends in death, which we, as a species, are cursed with knowing, resulting in something. Again, this is really not my field.
There's also Ben Chang, played by Ken Jeong, who over the course of the show undergoes quite the journey. He goes from Spanish teacher to student to security chief to evil dictator to a lot of other stuff.
I am a Spanish genius. In Espanol, my nickname is El Tigre Chino. Because my knowledge will bite her face off.
And of course, we can't forget Dean Craig Pelton, played to perfection by Jim Rash. I mean, do I even have to mention the peanut wrap?
Well, I'm a peanut bar, and I'm here to say your checks will arrive on another day. Another day, another dime, another rhyme, another dollar. Another stuffed shirt with another white collar. Criminals, Wall Street taking the pie, and all the black man gets is a plate of white lies. Prisons recruiting them, police be shooting them, rap artists looting them, labels all diluting them. Barack Obama is scared of me, cause I don't swallow knowledge and I spit it for free. Let me clear my throat. Ha ha ha! I don't know what that was, I don't.
I could honestly go on and on about how many hilarious characters there are at Greendale, but then this video would be 3 hours long, so let's just keep going. Now, going back to the premise, Dan Harmon and the writers of Community really understood the kind of show that they were making, both with the humor as well as with the concepts and the themes that they tackled. And as you watch the show and see the kind of shenanigans the characters get into, it really just shows that they were just having fun with it. Just to give you an example, some of the best episodes of Community involve Greendale getting absolutely destroyed in some kind of out-of-control paintball game. This happens multiple times throughout the show, and the amount of crazy, action-packed fun these episodes contain really indicates the kind of school Greendale is, as well as the kind of people that are in charge. And if that's not enough, allow me to show you the kind of classes Greendale has to offer.
My name is Professor Wabbenswin. Who's ready to learn? That's all for today. Read chapter 4.
Bananas?
Yes.
Toast.
Yes.
Bubblegum.
Yes.
Pancakes?
Yes.
Fries?
Get out. Get out.
Welcome. To ladders.
That's not to mention stuff like the air conditioning repair school and the ass crack bandit and the president of the Greendale student body. South Park. There's a laundry list of stuff that happens at Greendale. All that being said, this show was never 100% great. There was one subplot that ran through the entire show, which was Jeff's attraction to Annie, which I found extremely creepy. Not only was the age gap between these two characters too wide for comfort, but it occasionally also adopted a quasi-incestuous vibe. Again, I really hope this doesn't come back for the movie. Additionally, there were a number of problems happening behind the scenes that affected the show very drastically, especially in the later seasons. Probably the most well-known drama that occurred behind the cameras was with Chevy Chase, who was notoriously very problematic, and not just on Community. He was very vocally against the show's writing, and he also just didn't enjoy working with the other actors. Least of all Donald Glover, who he was famously very jealous of. It definitely affected the show going forward in a very negative way, because he was fired halfway through season 4. Dan Harmon was also fired from the show after season 3 because of his own problems like alcoholism and sexual harassment, and the Russo brothers eventually also left because they had to go film Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So as a result, season 4 kind of felt like an empty shell of what had come before. It tried to be entertaining, but it didn't really have the clever story writing and character development to support the humor. And this ultimately leads to some really bad episodes, like the Felt Puppet episode and the Freaky Friday episode, which was so bad that it actually made me hate Troy and Abed. Fortunately, the fans and the main cast were so vocal about how bad Season 4 was, also known as the Ghastly Year, that Dan Harmon was ultimately brought back. And Season 5 is a noticeable improvement, as well as a return to form for Community. Some of the best episodes of the entire show are in this season, like the Meow Meow Beans episode and the G.I. Joe Fever Dream. That being said, in this season the show also lost Donald Glover, who wanted to focus more on his music. And the showrunners definitely knew what they were losing, because his send-off is easily one of the best episodes on the whole show.
Slack it, boys! Earn your M&M! Troy and Abed intimidation stance! Guess that actually looked the way it did in my head.
And this was probably the biggest loss the show ever sustained as far as the cast, because after Troy left, the group was never the same. And the void is definitely felt for the rest of Season 5 and all of Season 6, which is the show's last season. Season 6 has a lot of weak episodes, the weakest in my opinion being the RV episode with the giant hand, and the one with the email leaks and the racist comedian. However, in my opinion, the finale of this season makes up for that, because it was a damn good conclusion to the show. It was hilarious and meta, but also really charming and smart. And most of all, it was a really good, bittersweet ending that sent a really strong message about what happens when you drag TV shows out for too long. And what's probably the best thing about this finale is that it gives you that feeling of satisfaction, but also leaves you wanting more, and we still have the movie to look forward to. And I, for one, am extremely excited for the Community movie. Donald Glover has already been confirmed to be returning as Troy Barnes, and the film is set to start shooting in June of this year. And I'm really excited to see what they do with it. Overall, guys, Community is not a perfect show. There's definitely a dip in quality in the later seasons, and a lot of creative decisions that aren't the best, but it is definitely a sitcom worth watching, especially for the earlier seasons and Season 5. It has a diverse, memorable cast, some really good humor that also serves as character development, and a unique premise that, when used properly, keeps the show engaging. And with that being said, my rating for Community is 7 out of 10. Okay, so this next part was really tough to develop, but to finish this video off, here are my top 5 favorite episodes of Community. At number 5, we have documentary filmmaking Redux, the episode where Dean Pelton goes crazy trying to direct a commercial for Greendale. At number 4, Messianic Myths and Ancient Peoples, the episode where Abed tries to make a Jesus movie. Number 3 is a two-way tie between A Fistful of Paintballs and For a Few Paintballs More, where City College tries to destroy Greendale with a paintball game gone wrong. Number 2, Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas, the stop-motion animated Christmas episode in Season 2. And at number 1, one of the funniest TV episodes I've ever watched, Basic Lupine Urology, the Law & Order episode where the group investigates who killed their biology class's Yam project. So if you've seen Community, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Do you like it? Are you excited for the movie? And what are some of your favorite episodes? Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to like this video and subscribe, follow us on all our social medias, and please support our Patreon so you can get the chance to request a movie or show you'd like to see us talk about next. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Diego for Cinemageddon Reviews, and I'll see you on the Wasteland.